What's going on, guys? Pro Retro Hunter here. I just want to do a video of what games I recommend on the PS3. First off would be the Uncharted series. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Uncharted series. It's really good. It's an obvious choice. I mean, they're really good games. My favorite though would probably be the second one or third one, but all of them are really good games. And then my next choice would be The Last of Us. This is just a no-brainer. It's probably the best game on the PS3, if not. And then my next would be Red Dead Redemption. I mean, it's just right behind the Uncharted series and the Last of Us. And next I would recommend is Metal Gear Solid, the HD collection. The PS3 has a lot of HD collections. It's really cool. There's a couple of them are not so great, but most of them are pretty well done. I mean, what's my favorite about it is it has Metal Gear Solid 2 on there, which is my favorite Metal Gear Solid. I know a lot of people like the Snake Eater one. I don't really care for it. 2, to me, it felt a lot better. And another one I do recommend is Metal Gear Solid 4. The end of the real Metal Gear Solid games, in my opinion. The rest of them were just complete shit. I mean, just to be blunt about it. Yeah. I mean, I haven't played the whole thing through yet. It's a pretty long game. I got a lot of games to play. I just got my PS3 last year, so. And I've got a lot of games, so. But anyways, another game I would recommend is Infamous 2 and Infamous 1. They're all pretty good games. It's like the game prototype almost, except you run off electricity. I haven't really played it too much, so I don't know what everything's about, but it's a pretty good game overall. It's pretty fun. Next I would recommend is Killzone 2. I'm pretty big into first-person shooters. As a lot of y'all know, a lot of people hate on first-person shooters because of the Call of Duty series and Medal of Honor and Battlefield and all that, but in my opinion, this is one of the few that are pretty good. And next is also a first-person shooter. I do recommend this a whole lot. It's a very fun game. I'm almost done beating it. Wolfenstein, the remake, the starting of a new trilogy or whatever. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not bad for $9.99. That's the good thing about PS3 right now is everything is so cheap. Like the most I pay is $10 for a game. And some games I find are really good for like 89 cents. Like the Uncharted series, I only paid like $8 for all of it. And the third one came in a collector's case. That's not too bad. The next one I would recommend, it actually came out of a dumpster dive, because that's why it's in a PS4 case, but Dishonored. Pretty good game. I mean, it's very stealthy-like. It came out a lot later in the PS3's life. But overall, it's a pretty good game. It runs pretty good. It runs about around like 30 frames per second, which ain't too bad. I mean, everybody prefers 60 frames, but it's a newer game, so it's hard to get to run like that. Especially with older technology that's like 12 years old. And next I would recommend is Bulletstorm. Very fun game. Nothing you really have to actually get into. You can play it for like an hour and set it down. Come back to it next week. Don't have to worry about where you are in the game. It's just fun. It's like an arcade shooter. And next I would recommend is Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. I mean, it's not as good as the first few on PS2 in my opinion, but it still holds up pretty well in my opinion. even after almost 10 years when it came out. I mean, it's not too bad. The graphics are decent, gameplay is fine. It's just, I don't know. Maybe let it age a little bit. Maybe I'll think a little bit different about it. Next, I would recommend is Resident Evil Revelations. Very cool game. It takes you back to the originals. It doesn't try too hard like the past other two did, especially with the Raccoon City Operation or whatever it was. I can't remember the name of it. I have the game though, but it was horrible. This game is awesome. Next up would be Resident Evil 5. Overall, it's a pretty good game. It got a lot of hate because you're killing black people. I mean, but it's just Resident Evil. It's just where it was at. I mean, people made a big deal about it, and it got a bad rap. It didn't sell too well, but overall, in my opinion, it's a pretty good game. Not the best Resident Evil, but it ain't the worst. Next up would be Resident Evil 6. In my opinion, I like it better than 5. A lot of people didn't like this at all either. I mean, Revelations is still better than 5 or 6, but 6 is pretty good. Overall, there's a lot of puzzles in the games that I like. The gameplay is pretty good. I mean, the graphics are really good for the PS3. I mean, I was kind of surprised. It was almost Naughty Dog worthy. And next series I do recommend God of War 3. I mean, it's a pretty good game overall. Not as good as 1 and 2, but it's hard to be good as 1 or 2. I mean, if you haven't played this, go ahead and just play it. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then God of War Ascension. It's pretty good. I haven't played too much of it. But, I mean, overall, it's not too bad. I don't hate it. Next would be Dead Island. This game is really fun. The same people that made Dying Light. I mean, a lot of people said a lot of bad things about it. I don't know why. I mean, overall, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's just a zombie game. You're going around on some island and killing all the zombies and helping people and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's not too bad. It's your usual zombie open world game. Next up would be Time Crisis 4. Some people like it, some people don't. It just depends on what taste you have of games. But it feels like an arcade shooter, and that's why I really like it. Reminds me going to the old movie theaters and putting in a couple quarters and playing a shooter on there. Pretty fun. Kill some time. Next up would be Sega Genesis collection. Really fun collection. Probably the best collection on the system. I don't have a Sega Genesis, and I feel like I have a Sega Genesis with this collection. So if you've been wanting to play some Sega games, you have a PS3 but you don't have a Sega Genesis, get this. It's only like 20 bucks. Like, it's probably the most expensive PS3 game in my collection as far as what I paid for it. But overall, it's definitely worth it, because if you go and buy a Genesis and buy all the other games, you could be spending like $300-400 on all these games with the Genesis. So it's a really good deal, and all of them are very well remade and everything. Next series I would definitely recommend is the Kingdom Hearts series, the remix. And the 1.5, I mean, I've been playing a little bit of this. It's not too bad. It also comes with the DS games on there, which is not too bad at all. So you get your money's worth. I think I only paid like $8.99 for this or something like that. Not too bad. And then same with this Kingdom Hearts 2. Pretty fun. I don't know if there's any other games on there. I haven't played it, put it in the system yet, but I do just the second one for $10. I do recommend a lot. If you like the first Kingdom Hearts game, you'll love the second one. The second one is so much better than the first one, even though the first one is really good. Another game I do recommend is Sly Cooper. These of Time. It was on the PS Vita and on the PS3. I think there might be one on PS4. I'm not sure. But overall, this is a pretty good game. I mean, a lot of people talk bad about it. This is the first Sly game I ever played, and I love it. I mean, it's pretty fun. It's not too hard. It's not really, really easy, but it's kind of easy. But I mean, it's a pretty long game. I still haven't beat it yet. And last but not least, Darkness 2. I used to have Darkness 1, not sure where it went to, but the Darkness series is a very underrated series in my opinion. I mean, the game is just, it's crazy, it's morbid, very inspired by other horror games and horror movies. It's, but it's so